What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Greetings to all of you wherever you are listening and watching the video from. I wanted to do a live stream over the weekend, and that didn't happen. I thought also that I would get one in today, but that didn't happen. Um, Tomorrow is my birthday, and I may get one in tomorrow, you guys. There's so much that, I'm trying to not stack a bunch of videos on top of my people, but at the same time, the other thing is I'm trying to have my content be subject specific, so that it's easier for people to find work that I cite and things like that. The reason why I mention that is because, especially in my lives, like, you'll hear me sometimes saying, it's in my work. I did a video. It's in my work. It's in my video. There's a video that I did, blah, 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 blah. But my lives go so long, and I go across so many topics that sometimes things get buried in live streams, Um, and also, so many things are happening that I feel inspired to um, produce content about. But some stuff is just going so fast, man. It's just hard to it's hard to keep up, and I have a life. you know, it's different for people that sit and do 6 videos a day. Like YouTube is all they do. Um, yeah, I can't do that. Um, so anyway, hopefully, as I say, I will be able to get a live in tomorrow. I don't know what time, but hopefully tomorrow. Um, because I have the perfect subject matter that I wanted to bring for that. And I made a conscious decision to do this particular content live because it would be fine in a recorded video, but it would really make for a really good live stream. And I think it would be perfect, especially since I haven't been live in a little while. So we'll see, everybody. And then also, I've been a little shy to do, I haven't just rushed to live streams because I'm still having issues with my camera. And I attempted to get another camera, but when I went to the store, they didn't have it. And I'm one of these people that likes to, especially when it comes to stuff like technology, electronic gadgets and stuff like that, I'm more inclined to buy it in person, because if there's an issue with it, I can just go and take it back. I don't like to really order things online, especially stuff like electronics and gadgets, because if you get it and something's not right, then it's a big production to get it replaced and all that. So I'd rather just, be able to go, put my hands on it, buy it. If it doesn't work, I take it back. If there's a problem, I just stab whoever's giving me problems and I get what I want. So, it is what it is. Also, I just would like to mention that today is my father's birthday. Um, my father passed away in 2009, and but I still always acknowledge his birthday. And it was interesting because, and I was telling someone earlier today, you know, because me and my father's birthday are right together. His is the 24th, mine's the 25th. So most of my life growing up, I would always call my dad or go see him or whatever, and wish him happy birthday, or if we were having a party for him, or a special dinner or whatever. And it always killed the shine of my birthday the next day because he would never call me. Because when I would be like, "Happy birthday, Dad," he was like, "Yeah, and happy birthday to you too." And that was all fine for me for most of my life. But at some point, I flashed. It occurred to me, wait, he's never gonna call me on my birthday if I speak to him on his birthday. So it became a thing with me to not call him or acknowledge his birthday. So that he would have to call me on my birthday. You feel me? And then eventually I did tell him that. I was like, "Dad, I just stopped calling you on your birthday or acknowledging it because otherwise you won't call me on mine." You feel me? And it wasn't really so much um I think it was bigger than that for me. For me it was also about, well, if I don't see or hear, if you don't see me or hear from me on your birthday, will you call me on mine? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that thing where you just want to see, you just like stop calling somebody, just see if they will call you, and stuff like that. So it's kind of in that same wheelhouse. Um, Anyways, all that aside, as I say, inshallah, I'm gonna try to be live with you tomorrow on my birthday, everybody. And yeah, yeah, I'm gonna try. So this I had to do because it's just one more thing on top of other stuff, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get anything because it's too many things coming at me. But I had to do this because I have spoken at length about this in my work over the years. It's a philosophy that I hold and have held for most of my life, long before there was such thing as social media and you knew who I was. Um, I have always maintained that the worst thing that ever happened to African people after slavery allegedly ended was integration. So I want to get into this because apparently it's causing a firestorm, and the straw that broke the camel's back for me was D.L. Hughley's um, pathetic ass, you know. And I've got some thoughts about him, some real thoughts, everybody. And I really don't know what the firestorm is about this, but I do. And I will share that with you as we go through this. All right. We'll just take it from pickups into the what caused all the firestorm.
About that,
When I was sitting looking at some of your work, there was one question I wanted to ask you, which is extremely controversial. I'm going to say this ahead of time. And I'll preface it with this. I oftentimes think to myself that as human beings, we're searching for solutions to real problems. We very seldom think that we've reached the wrong solution, right? Because we have a good intention. I really believe most human beings do. And in looking at some of your work, your speeches, your writing, and even society itself, even some of the things you're saying now, I found myself wondering, and this applies to America, and then maybe it'll go to other places in a different way because Finland ties in. Do you think that integration was the right move? And now I'm separating two things, because I know in America people are like, well, of course, I mean, there was racism and there was segregation, and I go, yeah, no, I'm separating them. Let's separate someone being oppressed and someone not being able to get a job and someone not being able to get a bank loan. Let's take all of those, the negative things away, because I'll put myself out personally and say, I think whether we're talking about gifted kids who are anomalous, let's say, to the norm, whether we're talking about, and I mean anything that does not fit into a category, I think part of the reason Finland is able to do it is because, have you been to Finland?
It's very homogeneous.
I've been to Finland. You know who's in Finland? Finnish people. That's it. That's it. And because they're all Finnish, there's an idea of like, no, we all head in the same direction. We all know what our actions mean. And that's a really powerful thing I've learned in communicating with other people. When I'm in a room with anyone where we start to tie together multiple things. So if I'm in a room with Black people, already there's like an implicit trust because we know what certain actions, words, and vibes mean. And then you're in a room with another African. Already. Now, even if you shout at me, I know what your shout means. The same way an Italian knows what an Italian shout means.
Yeah.
Right? I know I'm prefacing it with a lot because it's a loaded question.
Yes.
But I would love to know if you think integration was the right solution, maybe, on the other side of, what America, of civil rights.
Yeah. No, I don't. And I don't think it's actually that controversial when if you understand that segregation and integration weren't the only options. Like within those two options, it may seem like integration is the more progressive. Like, of course, we don't want segregation. But again, when you're being integrated into institutions, into a culture that's a supremacist culture, that's a culture that feeds off of hierarchy, that feeds off of insecurity, anxiety, why are we being integrated into that? And so part of it is to question what we're being invited into.
Now, I didn't see anything controversial about that at all. But first, let's deal with the word controversial, everybody, because I have preached till I'm blue in the face. This word only comes from white people. And as I've said it to you over the years, when I hear the word controversial, that just means white people have heard something that is the truth, or they don't like, or something that calls them to account, or something like that. You know what I mean? Controversial. Contrary to the truth is what they want. Contrary to how they feel. Controversial. It's contrary to their agenda, their evil, their whatever. So let's throw that out. If they want to use that for them, for some shit that's happening to them, their people, and has no implications to us at all, let them use it till they're blue in the face. But we don't accept it when they are using it in the context of us, because Black people wouldn't find this controversial. There's no Black person that would say that word for this unless they've heard this demon. That's a fact. That's a fact. And so it wouldn't have even been an issue. It's only being made a firestorm by them. By them. And I could also imagine where maybe this is something to scandalize Trevor Noah or something like that. They could be also being used for that. And let us remember, he's not up there by himself. This sister just gave an affirmative agreement to what he's saying, and then gave a dissertation of why. So this is not controversial. And I would also proclaim that any African people having a problem with this, you're ignorant and you need to go and learn. You've been influenced by this devil, and or you're just ignorant and don't know what's going on anyway, because this is no different than you have someone who has been kidnapped. In fact, we've seen stories where some kid was kidnapped when they were 5, and 20 years later they find them here. They've been held captive by somebody for 20 years, and they were claiming that was their child and everything, and then the person escaped and found their real family, and oh my God, and here they come. It's no different than that, or a woman who has been raped or assaulted, and then we tell her she needs to go and live with her abuser. This is no different. You see, but as I always tell you, white people always want to start at a part of any story that doesn't indict their evil ass. So they want you to be thinking of this in the context of there was no crime by them. There wasn't nearly 600 years of oppression from them upon us deliberately and still continuing to this day. I just saw a brother earlier today. There's a story of a brother who just got out of jail after nearly 30 years for a crime he didn't commit, and they knew he didn't commit it. But 30 years of his life is gone because of white people. So don't tell me shit about, oh, they want you to feel guilty that you don't want to be amongst their white ass. That's what this amounts to. Now, let's use another example. Helen Thomas, who used to be the head of the White House press corps. They even had an award that was named in her honor. She's an old, bent-over lady with a big nose, highly unattractive, and all of that. But she was known to ask the real questions in the press room to the president or even his, the spokesperson that comes out every day and gives the briefing. Helen Thomas. And her career ended in 5 seconds because there she was walking around out on Capitol Hill, and some of these Zionist kids who knew who she was came up and asked her, because at that time they were bombing Palestine, as they have been for nearly 100 years. And these students came up and asked her, because they were excited to see it's Helen Thomas, and said, they were, asking her a question and everything, and somebody said, what do you think about the Israel-Palestine thing, And she said, she said they need to get off their land. It's not their land. And they go, what do you think they should do? She said, well, they should go back to where they came from, to Poland and Germany and Europe and wherever they came from. They're not being oppressed anymore. They should go back to where they came from. Her career was over that day, everybody. And she was a seasoned journalist, had been up there for many years and highly respected and all of it. But like that, her career was over. Because she dared to say that they need to go back to where the fuck they came from. So, yet we're supposed to feel bad about not, and their crime is over. Nobody's oppressing them at fucking all. In fact, they're committing genocide upon the Palestinians. You see? But here we are, still being oppressed. Still being oppressed. Trump just wants to get rid of the Black History Month, and he just fired a black general, and I mean and they want to get rid of DEI, which is the new N word, and we could just go down the list, man. We still in fucking slavery. Even the fucking 13th Amendment that's supposed to free the slaves has a clause that I've been over with you over the years. The language is, nobody's to be held as a slave, blah, 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 except, that's where your whole shit changes and goes right back to slavery. Except if you're convicted of a crime, then you back in slavery, homie. They haven't changed the language to this day. But we're supposed to feel bad about saying we don't want to be amongst your white ass. We don't. You are our enemy. You are our oppressor. You are our abuser. You are our murderer. You are our thief. On and on and on we can go. Yes. Damn it. And by the way, Trevor was asking the question, do you think that integration was a good thing post civil rights, given, everything? He's just asking a question. I'm stating affirmatively integration was some bullshit. I'm not asking the question. I'm telling you. it's some bullshit. Because what it did was it took away our unity. It took away our economics, most of all, because we had our own cleaners and our own restaurants and our own grocery stores and our own postal carriers and our own taxis and our own buses and our own stores and our own lawyers and our own doctors and our own damn everything. And the moment we integrated with this demon, two things happened. A, we lost all of our shit. But that wasn't just our doing, because once we integrated, they didn't want us to be integrated with them and then also compete with them. So they made it more difficult for us to have that. We had our own this and own that, and we had our own this and we had our own that. You see, some of it was our own doing, but then there was a lot of it that was their doing that made it difficult for us to have our own shit, and that continues to this day. Don't tell me shit. Anybody speaking that shit that this is controversial or he's promoting segregation and all that needs to sit their ass down and shut the fuck up someplace. You understand? Because we continue to suffer because of our lack of unity. Because these people are a virus. They are exhausting. It's better for our own health when we're not around them. You understand? When I was in Africa, one of the things that I was so that gave me such a why I began to thrive even is because I didn't have the exhausting stress of having to even think about these people at all. Many of our people will never experience that, sadly. But I think it should be mandatory, because once you realize how you feel as a human being when you don't have to see these people or even think about them at all, it's like night and day. It's like night and day. People don't realize what a stress factor these people are upon you every damn day, all day. They don't realize it. They don't realize it. But those of us who are enlightened, who understand, we're very clear. We're very clear. Integration was the worst thing. And others knew it, because when the Japanese had the option to integrate, they said, we'll go back to Japan, thank you very much. And those that didn't, you see, the Japanese still have their own shit within this country. They're unified, and they still live in this country. So we could call that integration if you want to, but they act very much as a group apart and on their own, as do all the Asian communities, as do all the Arabs. Everybody does it except for us. The Native Americans said, no, thank you very much. Your bitch ass lied and reneged on over 400 treaties. Just give us our fucking land and get the fuck away from us. And they have their own courts. They have their own government. They have their own economy. They have their own business. And they are sovereign. They're not beholden to this American system or its government or its laws in any way at all. You had to be psychotic to want to integrate with the very people who are still lynching you to this day. Still. And one of the big problems many of our people have is you can't think past your own pathetic, small little life right where you live. That's why you can't exercise unity also. But you're not able to see the worldview. Just because you got a white neighbor that you've known since forever means nothing. That neighbor's people still represent the oppressing factor of your whole life, the oppressor of your people. That's a fact. But they have been very masterful in their demonic evil to get you to parse out them as individuals when they still see you as a group. You're still one thing to them. One. That's it. But we're the only pathetic people who, and it only takes one. That's what kills me. One white person shows you some kind of nicety or something, and that's it. It's like, that's a problem. That's a problem. Because while there was segregation, there was still black people who had various types of relationship, with white people. There were even some, I guess, that dated them and things like that, but it wasn't ubiquitous like it is now. My point is that you can be segregated from a people and interact with them but still maintain your integrity. And this is why African people don't have any integrity in this country to this day. You've just let go of everything. And because of that, you're not able to see that you're at war still. You're still at war. These people are still at war with you. And to not know that is beyond ignorant. I just don't know how some black people fill up their day and their time. It's definitely not with knowledge, and it's certainly not with knowledge of self and history and the truth above all. I can't believe that there's even, there's no, what should be happening now is there should be a full pushback, just like everybody pushed back on, who was it? Fat Joe, just like everybody was swinging from the rafters over Kendrick Lamar's performance. We got it. That wasn't for y'all. It was for us. And this, okay, that's all good. Keep that same energy and say, Trevor Noah was right, period, the end. And how dare you try to chastise black people for not wanting to be amongst your white ass. Your evil white ass. They want you to start at a part of the story where you've forgotten that they're your oppressor. They want to make you think that everything's just fine. It's all fine. And so in that context, well, why would you want segregation? That's not right, and that's not right. And that vomit. Nah. We're going to tell the whole story. We're not going to tell it at all. You understand? But this is the way of this white devil. Because even in Gaza, you see that they want to start at October 7th. They don't want to deal with the 100 years they've been fucking murdering and killing and imprisoning the Palestinians. No. Let's start at October 7th. You see, they always want to start at the point where it's advantageous for them. Because when you have context, then it gets worse and worse and worse for their white ass. I just couldn't believe it, dude. I couldn't believe it. And I don't know what side of this coin D.L. Hughley is on. He seems to be speaking out of both sides of his neck. And I don't appreciate that he immediately tried to other Trevor Noah because he's South African. And let us be very suspicious of D.L. Hughley because they're always throwing up D.L. Hughley as one of the several people, and it is just several, that they have elevated, make sure they have a huge visibility to the black community, And when big things happen, they want them to be the voice to snow your ass into their white way of thinking. Fuck D.L. Hughley and the bitch that gave birth to him. I said it and he can see me. You understand? Let's see what his bitch ass had to say about all of this, because he was wrong. This is Dr. Rashad. He was covering it also. And you see, Trevor Noah gives controversial take on racial integration. There was nothing controversial about it at fucking all. In fact, here's where they wouldn't have said shit. If Trevor Noah or anybody else had sat up there and said, why the hell would black people have integrated with these evil ass white people after all the shit they've done and continue to do? You would have heard crickets from fucking white people. Crickets. You see? But when they frame it like this, it's like, ooh, Trevor Noah did something wrong. Let's see this lead in.
Once the clip went viral, reactions became, well, plentiful. And D.L. Hughley said it may be the stupidest thing he's ever heard. Here it is.
That may be the stupidest thing I've ever. And first off, I've heard enough from South Africans.
The stupidest thing he's ever heard. That really sent me. How is it the stupidest thing? It's very cogent and very intelligent. Like, why would you want to be integrated with a people who fucking still to continue to kill, murder, lynch, and maim you and steal from you? Why? We would even say it to someone who was was in a domestic violence situation. Why she still stay with him? Why? You see? But that has no implication for their white ass, just a domestic situation. So they'd be right there. Why is she staying with him? We just don't understand. But when it comes to us, and because the indictment is on them, then suddenly it's a problem that you would dare to question, why would you want to be integrated with these evil ass people? Period. And then D.L. Hughley, it's the stupidest thing. Really? Fuck D.L. Hughley.
Plentiful. And D.L. Hughley said it may be the stupidest thing he's ever heard. Here it is.
That may be the stupidest thing I've ever. And first off, I've heard enough from South Africans this year. That's enough. I'm like between Elon Musk and Trevor, I don't need to hear about.
See how he othered him? You see, this is dangerous. But D.L. Hughley is a paid person. You understand? He is paid. He is paid. He is an agent of this white devil. This is no different than when they would put informants in the various black liberation groups back in the day. This is the new age of that. You saw all of them that you saw caking for Kamala Harris. Joy Reid just got fired from MSNBC. We saw this playbook before. They bring on a whole bunch of black people when the Democrats are trying to get somebody black elected, or not even just somebody black, but a Democrat elected. But in this case, it was Kamala. So, let's roll out the black people, you see. And then when they're done, they get rid of you. We saw this back when Barack ran. I saw people I'd never seen in my life. Michelle Bernard, Jamal Simmons, it's a whole list of them, y'all. I can't even name them. But we've seen this playbook before. So they don't need her now. And there she was caking. She's always caking for the Democratic Party. D.L. Hughley's another one. You understand? But these are people who don't give a fuck about black people. They're in those secret cabals. And they always roll him out for big events. Always. And make sure he's on some major media outlet. I'm sick and tired of it, man. I'm sick and tired of it. So this is the stupidest thing he's ever heard. This really, really. So I wonder if D.L. Hughley has any exes in his life. We're going to make him go back and live with them bitches. How about that? Huh?
I'm not gonna. Between Elon Musk and Trevor, I don't need to hear about race from two dudes from South Africa. I heard enough. Black schools and HBCUs in our system exist. And she could have said that virtually about every system that exists in America, from policing to banking to housing. Every single one is inundated with white supremacy. All of it.
See, this is why I say he's talking about both sides of the neck. Because what are you saying? Are you? So he seems to be contradicting himself. Like, he's citing the very reason why we should be segregated while saying this is the most ridiculous thing he's ever heard. But he just acknowledged that all the institutions are inundated with white supremacy, white evil.
So, and the thing that I find that I resent the most is that our story always starts in the middle. HBCUs came as a result of what we couldn't have. Everywhere we live, every black neighborhood is where we were told to live. So what America tends to do is act like it's so long ago. Yes, they don't wear hoods and maybe they don't do the things that they did before, but some of it is still so entrenched. So
you see? So are they taking him out of context to make it seem like he's saying something he's not saying? Because all this is a case for segregation. Everything he's saying. What am I missing? Everything he's saying is exactly the case for segregation and why integration was some bullshit.
So what America tends to do is act like it's so long ago. Yes, they don't wear hoods and maybe they don't do the things that they did before, but some of it is still so entrenched, so some of it's so insidious that I think that people. This is my honest assessment of it. I don't think most white people agree with the motives of white supremacists and white nationalists. I don't think they like their words, but I think they agree with their goals, which is to keep white people in charge.
Boom. You see? So what is he saying? What is he saying, everybody? What is he saying? What is he saying? What is he saying? So maybe I'm gonna have to hear more from him. Like, I don't know, like maybe over the next days or something. I guess he'll, maybe we'll just be looking for more statements from him. But right now, it seems like he just made the case for segregation. He totally just made the case for segregation. So I don't know. Is there more to his clip that they didn't play? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. But in my mind, he's making the case for segregation. Because it is the thing, because integration is the very thing that has held us back, And I don't agree with his most white people bullshit, because all we have to do is look at the historical footage, and we've seen the action of white people. And we don't look back to that historical footage and we don't see any of them just so against what white people are doing that they can't go on. We don't have any protesting by them, no actions, anything at all. They didn't raise a finger. So they all agreed. Do you understand? Segregation was the law of the land. And just because you had some civil rights legislation that got rid of that, you can't legislate evil out of people's hearts. You can't. You cannot do that. So they just found new ways to exercise the same evil they had been doing. You understand? Mainly, the thing that kept it afloat, for lack of a better word, is our economics. Because our money was good for them. You understand? All them businesses that we and institutions that we integrated into, we brought our black dollar with us too. The best example of that was the bus boycott of the 1950s. They were staunch about us not riding the damn bus. You understand? Or being disrespected on the bus. But when we had unity. So once we said, fuck your bus, we're not riding this bitch. And we walked for over a year. And the buses were about to go out of business. And so it was only an economic move. White people didn't have no sudden moral epiphany and they wanted to do right and they just felt so bad about all the things they had done. Nah. Money was their God as it is today. Quick, put their black ass on that bus and let's sit wherever the hell they want to. We just need that goddamn money. So it was a business move. Not because they like your black ass. This is basic. Like, why am I even... I can't even believe I even have to do this. This is one of the things that every black person should already know this already. Period. The end. Wow. Wow. It's a shame, dude. It's a shame. It's a shame. Wow. Because at every turn, they let you know they don't like your black ass. That you're not the American they talking about when they talk about real Americans and all this. You understand? And you see who they just put in office. A whole felon, a sexual predator, a thief, a fraudster, an entire criminal. That's what they think of your black ass. That's what they think. Wow. Let me know what you think, everybody. I can't with this. I can't. As I said earlier, I will try to get in a live stream tomorrow, you guys, God willing. But for now, I leave it here. This is the Jedi.